I've scoured through everything that I could personally find that I know is going to be there in 2025. One of the first things that's going to blow us away is physical AI, especially in robots that can perform human tasks. After that, I'll cover the explosion of AI hardware that is set to come our way. Next, we'll take a look at AI agents, which have been teased by major companies like OpenAI and even Google with their thinking model. And finally, I'll share why I believe 2025 is the year that we finally nail infinite memory for AI systems. Let's get started. First is physical AI and robots. Many different companies are going to be really pushing the boundaries of what it means to build humanoid robots. The reason is there are a variety of new advances making them much more realistic, with more natural motions and better hardware for testing. Boston Dynamics gave us a glimpse of what is possible with a fully humanoid robot that does tasks autonomously, even making mistakes and correcting itself. Meanwhile, Tesla and Figure are also working toward automated workers, and other startups have been raising huge seed rounds to build out their own generalist robot policies that can fold clothes, pack boxes, and do other tasks without direct human teleoperation. These breakthroughs are quite mind-blowing, not only because the robots can perform everything from basic chores to more sophisticated tasks, but because they also run on generalist models that allow them to adapt to new tasks. Companies have begun using robust simulations, like Genesis, that accurately mimic real-world physics so robots can be trained in a virtual space before stepping into reality. Once we see that training pipeline go mainstream, we're probably going to get a massive leap in robotic tech in 2025, with demos that truly push the envelope on what humanoid robots can accomplish. Second is AI hardware. Late 2025 will likely see an explosion in AI hardware. If AI agents manage to work reliably, hardware will follow suit and become integral to everyday life. OpenAI is rumored to be developing a physical AI product alongside Apple's former top designer, Johnny Ive, so it's going to be fascinating to see what they bring to the market. We can imagine devices that interface directly with these agents, whether in your home, in your pocket, or in your workplace, making AI even more accessible. We're also watching how major tech players handle AI hardware on the consumer side. For example, Amazon announced a new Alexa voice assistant powered by Claude AI. While it hasn't fully launched as of now, it might require a subscription fee for advanced features when it does. This shows how hardware and AI are becoming more tightly integrated. The aim is for voice assistants and physical AI devices to deliver high value tasks beyond simple commands because they'll be more powered by more capable models. Once these refined devices are out in the wild, we might look back and see 2025 as a turning point in how people engage with AI at home and on the go, like in your car. Number three is AI agents. Of course, one of the biggest stories is the arrival of AI agents. According to leaks from reputable sources like The Information, OpenAI is planning to launch something called an operator agent, likely early next year, maybe in January or February. This agent can apparently use a computer or browse to accomplish tasks on the person's behalf, from coding to booking travel. We've seen a similar demo for coding in the 12 days of OpenAI, and I think this will be a much more powerful model. If you're interested in seeing the coverage of the 12 days of OpenAI, check out my channel to see other videos. Sam Altman's also talked about how these agents will transform how we get complex, multi-step tasks done.
About an AI agent acting on their behalf. The main example that they seem to give fairly consistent is, oh, you can like ask the agent to go book you a restaurant reservation. And either it can like use OpenTable or it can like call the restaurant or whatever. And it's like, okay, sure, that's like a mildly annoying thing to have to do, and it maybe like saves you some work. One of the things that I think is interesting is a world where you can just do things that you wouldn't or couldn't do as a human. So what if instead of calling uh, one restaurant to make a reservation, my agent would call me like 300 and figure out which one had the best food for me or some special thing available or whatever. And then you would say, well, that's like really annoying if your agent is calling 300 restaurants. But if it's an agent answering each of those 300 places, then no problem. And it can be this like massively parallel thing that a human can't do. So that's like a trivial example, but there are these like limitations to human bandwidth that maybe these agents won't have. The category I think though is more interesting is not the one that people normally talk about, where you have this thing calling restaurants for you, but something that's more like a really smart senior coworker, where you can like collaborate on a project with, and the agent can go do like a 2-day task or 2-week task really well, and ping you at when it has questions, but come back to you with like a
Right now, various companies are rushing out their own version of agents, like Google with their research prototype that browses websites or manages tasks in a new Chrome extension. The underlying idea is that you could give the agent a complicated job, like a 2-day task for a human, and then come back later to see the finished product. And while we've always seen demos that show a lot of potential, reliability still remains a hurdle. This is especially true with which you might heard of Devon AI, which is a coding model. It is powerful on benchmarks, but the reliability is still an issue. But with more robust integrations and improved large language models on the horizon, it's quite likely that we'll see some jaw-dropping agent demos in 2025 and maybe even start using them daily.
Agents are the thing everyone is talking about, I think for good reason. This idea that you can give an AI system a pretty complicated task, like a kind of task you give to a very smart human that takes a while to go off and do and use a bunch of tools and create something of value. That's the kind of thing I'd expect next year. And that's like a huge deal. We talk about that like, oh, this thing is going to happen. But that's like that. If that works as well as we hope it does, that can really transform things.
4 is infinite memory. Finally, we have infinite memory, which is going to be a game changer in 2025. Kevin Scott, Microsoft's head of AI, has mentioned prototypes with near infinite memory. This means once you invest your time sharing context and data, the AI won't forget your preferences or previous tasks, even if they happened weeks or months ago. Imagine AI that recalls every conversation thread you ever had, giving you targeted suggestions and genuinely building on your past. That level of continuity would be so huge because you wouldn't want to switch to a different AI once yours knows you thoroughly enough. Several insiders have hinted that next year is when we'll nail permanent memory in a meaningful way, and there have been multiple references, even from folks at OpenAI, suggesting that soon we'll see near infinite recall. That will open up entirely new use cases from more personalized digital assistants to in-depth project planning that seamlessly carries from one session to the next.
Memory is the critical piece, because today, every time you go to your AI, you have a new session and it has a little bit of memory for what you talked about last time or maybe the time before. But because it doesn't remember the session 5 times ago or 10 times ago, it's quite a frustrating experience to people. So you sort of tap out after a while and it turns, into a shallower experience. But we have prototypes that we've been working on that have near infinite memory. And so it just doesn't forget, which is truly transformative. I mean, you talk about inflection points. Memory is clearly an inflection point because it means that it's worth you investing the time. Because everything that you say to it, you're going to get back in a useful way in the future. You will be supported, you will be advised, it will take care of, in time, planning your day and organizing how you sort of live your life. So it's that capability alone, which I expect to come online in 2025, is going to be truly transformative.
If it all comes together in 2025, this might become the single best shift in how we interact with AI because it transforms sessions into relationships where AI truly grows alongside you. That's it for my top 4 AI predictions for 2024, and let me know in the comments if you think I missed anything. Also importantly is the new introduction of the LCM architecture by Meta. I recently made a video about it, so check that video out next if you're interested in understanding how large concept models might replace large language models.